request to do a tutorial on this makeup look, which is my everyday light summer makeup. So let's get started. The first thing I do is conceal any darkness under my eyes. So I'm using the Sonia Kashuk Concealer Quad and using the color that looks almost kind of reddish and putting that on my under eye circles and on my eyelid. And I use this concealer first because it really gets rid of all the darkness, and then I go in with a highlighting concealer and also put that under my eyes and all over my face. I'm using this highlighting concealer by Maybelline, and I'm putting it anywhere where I have a blemish or maybe where my skin is a little bit darker and I want to brighten it up. So really this concealer is acting as the main coverage in this whole makeup look, and it's very light. And I'm using this instead of using foundation just because I really don't feel like I need it, especially in the summer where it would just melt off anyway. So here is where I'm adding a little bit more of that concealer under my eyes, brightening up that area a bit, which will help me look more awake. And that is all for the concealer, and then I move on to powder to set all of that concealer. I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte powder with a Sigma brush and setting that concealer that's on my eyes, and then I just set the concealer that's pretty much just on my T-zone because that's the only other place that I put concealer. So a little bit on my forehead, on my nose, and then on my chin and around my mouth. That's where I put powder. And by the way, I will list all the makeup and brushes that I used in this tutorial along with the specific shades that I used. So that's all for my face makeup, just a little concealer and powder, and I like this because it's light and you can still see my skin through it. So next I'm moving on to bronzer just to give my face a little bit more color, and putting it on my forehead, on my cheeks, and a little bit on my nose. And adding a little blush, I'm using one of my favorites by Milani, and it's a beautiful red-toned blush. And just putting that on the apples of my cheeks and swiping up a little bit. And adding one of my favorite things, which is highlighter. I'm using this highlighter from the Stila The Natural palette, and it's called Organza. It's called an all-over shimmer. And putting that on my cheekbones and a little bit on my forehead and down the bridge of my nose. This is a beautiful highlighter, and I love the healthy looking glow that it gives to your face. Oh, and Marlo decided to visit me. Then I take care of those brows and brush through them a little bit with my brow brush just to shape them, and then I go in filling them in with this Milani Brow Tint Pen, and I really just kind of put it through the ends because that's really the only place where I need it. So I do that, and then I shape them a little bit more with the brush. And then I use an eyebrow gel by e.l.f. Put that through my brows to shape them and to hold the shape, and then brush through again with my eyebrow brush. And then I'm adding some eyeshadow from that same Stila palette that I used the highlighter from, and it is a light pink shimmery color called Demure in the palette. Just sweeping that across my lids, but some days I don't wear any eyeshadow at all. And then for mascara, I'm using my favorite CoverGirl Lash Blast, and this is in the brown color. And my last step is lips, so I'm using this Tarte LipSurgence Lip Tint, just dabbing that on my lips and rubbing it in to fade out the color a little bit. And then I just dab it with a tissue and add lip balm on top of it. And that's the completed look. On many